So I'm only making this because I kind of feel bad. There's this guy. His name is Adam22. You might know him. You might not. He hosts the No Jumper podcast, and he got married a month ago, and that should be a good thing, right? That should be a good thing. I should be coming on here and talking about the importance of a man and a woman coming together, getting married, starting a family, doing all that stuff, right? All the traditional, boring stuff that has been pushed out of the world now. That's what I should be coming on here to talk about. But it is the complete opposite. And when I saw it, I wanted to laugh, but I didn't. I did. I laughed, but I delayed it because I felt bad for about 2 seconds. And then I started to laugh. Adam and his wife, they do porn. So how anyone is in a relationship with someone who does that is beyond me. Me personally, I just couldn't, right? I'd be in prison and then I'd get out and then I'd go back just over and over and over again. As many times as they let me out, I'd be back in. There's no way possible that I could be in a situation like that. But that's why I'm me and he's him and other people are who they are. But yeah, they do it, right? They do their thing. A lot of the times they do it together. Other times they do it together with an additional person. And every single time, at least how they describe it, is they do it with another woman. And I have to say how they describe it because this is behind a paywall and I'm pretty good with it myself, but I don't care how desperate I get. I'm not spending $3.99 to watch something like that. This is not happening. But the way they describe it is anytime that they do it, they do their thing, is him, his wife, and another woman, which I still think is messed up because you're in a relationship and on top of that, you're now married. But this activity is now seen as a job by some people. So they tend to kind of put any thoughts of faithfulness or whatever at the door so they can go get some money. Now, keep in mind, they just got married a month ago. The other day, and this is the part where I started to laugh just because I'm like, like I said, couldn't be me, right? Couldn't be me. The other day, this man's wife gets on Twitter and she posts this video.
Hey guys, guess who I'm shooting with today? It's finally happening. Wow, I did not know you were going to do that.
So it's her and this other dude, and she just sounds like excited. It's finally happening. She posts a video, and it's basically a promotion of her and this dude and how they're about to get down or whatnot. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, there's no way that this is happening, right? There's no way that this man is about to let his wife do this. And yes, let his wife do this because they are partners. And although it's bad that he does what he does, in my opinion, there's no way possible that you're about to let another man satisfy your wife. There's just no way. But I forgot the time that we live in, right? We live in a crazy time. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And that's exactly what happened. This woman got by another dude on camera for the internet to see for $3.99. And you already know everybody went at this dude and they started calling him all kinds of names. Cuck being at the top of the list. And what's funny about that word is I thought that was some Urban Dictionary stuff. The actual definition of cuck, which is like a real word that's in a normal dictionary. I did not know that. I thought that was some Urban Dictionary stuff. The definition of cuck is a man whose wife is sexually unfaithful. That's in the real dictionary, like Oxford Languages on Google. The word is right. The word is right there, man. So he's been like called that a number of different ways. And what makes it even worse, even though this whole thing is weird already, is he wasn't even invited to the party. I said it earlier, at least how they describe it, is anytime that they do their thing, is always him, his wife, and another woman. Still not good, but at least they're together, right? This woman got on the internet by another man for the price of a McChicken meal for everyone to see, and this man was not even a part of it. That was his last ounce of any amount of self-respect he had. 99% of it went out the door when this was agreed to, And then it just was completely gone when I found out that it was just them two. And he was kind of just at home while his wife was, in his words, getting plowed. Now, in an effort to get out ahead of it, he's like tweeting stuff, trying to make jokes about it to seem like he's not that bothered by it. And a lot of people do that, right? If they're taking heat for something, they'll try to lean into it, or they'll try to get in front of it to make it seem like they're not bothered by it or whatever. But it's just making it look worse. And trust me, there's a point that I'm going with all this, but it's just making him look worse. He tweeted out, "It's officially been a week since I let my wife do porn with another guy. I felt a little jealous at first, but overall, it wasn't that big a deal. She's watched me sleep with hundreds of girls, and it's never affected our relationship. Sleeping with that gentleman has been amazing for both her career and our business. Overall, I'm glad we did it, and I'm happy to report her vagina has returned to its normal pre-BBC size." That tweet did not do what he thought it was going to do, so he decided to try again, right? You know when someone should just stop? He did not. He just kept going. He tweeted out a picture of himself bench pressing and said, "I wasn't born with the strength required to let another dude bang my wife. It takes hours upon hours in the gym to gain this kind of strength. Weak men will never understand." Clearly trying to make a joke out of it, but it's not working because that did not hit. I mean, the other guy did to his wife, but this tweet did not. So he tried one more time. Like, just sometimes people should just stop. And it's important to have good people around you to let you know when to stop. This dude just kept going. He said, "It's kind of weird how calling me a cuck is supposed to offend me. I saw the video of my wife getting plowed, and I thought it was pretty hot. If that makes me a cuck, so be it," which that's exactly what it makes you. But I saw this and I could only feel bad. But the point that I want to make is that this is what happens, right? And this is not the only example. There's a million different examples of how crazy the world has gotten now that people want to kind of get outside the bounds of what is traditional. Whatever you believe is traditional and how you believe it came to be is your prerogative, but the reality is that there are traditional ways to kind of go about business, right? I.e. a relationship, right? Where you have the man, you have the woman, they like each other, they date, they get married, they have kids, and then they remain like connected to each other. They remain faithful to each other, and they don't use themselves and each other for monetary gain via sexual activities. But because it's so normal now, somebody like this dude is going to allow his wife to get thrashed by another man, most likely in an effort to not be labeled insecure, because, you know, you're going to have an army of a lot of these OnlyFans models who would probably deem themselves as hardcore feminists, who are going to like try to make the case that it's their body and, you know, it's a form of self-respect and empowerment to be sexually liberated, to be able to express yourself sexually in any type of way that you want, regardless of if you're in a relationship or not. So in an effort to not look like a bad guy or someone who's insecure, which is completely wrong, right? Saying to your woman, "Hey, I don't want you having sex with other men," that's not insecure, but that's where we're at now, right? So I'm just trying to put the pieces together, figure it out in my head. But that's where we're at now, where this man has most likely done that in an effort to avoid looking like he's insecure by this mob of people who partake in these activities, because like it's their body and no one's allowed to tell them what to do, even though they're married and even though they have a kid, right? Now, what he does isn't good at all, right? That's not what I'm saying. But the rationale behind society looking down upon him when his wife is sleeping with other men, as opposed to looking down on his wife when he's sleeping with other women, is that as men, in the general sense, in order for us to attain a woman who we desire, it's a lot harder than it is for a woman to attain a man that she desires. For men, once again, it's in the general sense, a lot of what we gain out of life, especially when it's a woman, is based on our merit. That's not the only thing, but that's a really big factor, right? Maybe how much money we bring to the table, our career, if we're respected in a certain field, how well we can provide, etc. For a lot of women, and once again, I will say it for the third time in the general sense, especially nowadays with like a lot of people who are around my age, right? Between like the ages of 18 to maybe 22, 23, a lot of these women, I mean, they look good. And that has been the case forever, is that for men aren't super complicated. So if they see a woman who looks good, chances are they're not like, oh, I'm only going to talk to her if she can like provide for me or whatnot. No, they're going to go up to her, right? And with the help of Mac and L'Oreal and Instagram filters, a lot of these girls can post pictures of themselves, and they've got hundreds, maybe thousands of dudes who flood their DM, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. So although sleeping with other people is bad, especially when you're in a relationship, and especially when you're married, and especially when you have a child, but there's just another level of hurt when you allow another man to satisfy your wife in an effort to not be labeled insecure, but then that kind of backfired on you because now you're being dogged for it. I know the world is moving in a weird direction, but trust me, traditional relationships are okay. They're still fine, right? You can still be with a woman or a man or whatever, and you guys can just be with each other. You guys don't have to be with a bunch of other people. You don't have to use your body to make money on the internet for a couple of dollars a month. Men, you don't have to allow your woman to be engaged sexually with other men in an effort to not look insecure. Like, the fact that that even needs to be said is odd, but it kind of does, because there's no way possible that I could ever fathom being in this situation. But you're not only in this situation, you're in this situation and it's in front of the world. That's tough. But me personally, I wouldn't take this type of disrespect. This man has been violated by another man and now by the entire world, essentially, because it's out there, right? It's out there for everyone to see if they want to skip the McDonald's line to go watch that instead. I feel bad, but man, at some point it's like, you got to know. Like, inherently for us men, that is one of the qualities that we love about being with a woman is our ability to please her, and not even just in a sexual way, in any kind of way, to provide for her, to take care of her, to take her on nice dates, to buy things for her, all of this stuff. So when another man does it, that is like a really, really big gut punch, especially when she's with you, right? Yeah, it sucks if you guys don't work out and you might have those thoughts in your head of another dude stepping into the picture. But over time, that starts to fade and you begin to move on with your life. But you guys are in a relationship, and not just in a relationship. You are married. You're married. So if you want to break this off, it's not just as simple as, I don't want to be with you anymore and I'm bouncing. No, you guys are married and another man satisfied this woman. I don't know. But bro might want to change the title of his podcast. The No Jumper podcast needs to be changed, because clearly that other man has the best jumper in the history of the world. Bro shot his shot and that mug worked so good that they wanted to put it on camera and show it to the world. That's crazy, dog. But listen, fellas, like, and I say this because stuff like this is becoming so prevalent. This isn't the only time I've seen this from like a popular podcaster that I watch or somebody else that I watch or whatnot, where these dudes are allowing their women to like be sexually involved with other men. Even if they don't do it, even if they're not sexually involved with other women, it's just becoming a popular trend for a lot of women and hardcore feminists to like want to take back their freedom, I guess, if they're lacking any, which, I mean, not a lot are. We're kind of all chilling right now, I feel like. But they want to do it in a way that allows them to be sexually liberated. Meaning that I want to be in a relationship with you, but I also want to be able to do whoever it is that I want to do. And these dudes are just allowing it, man. They are allowing it. And it's hilarious when I see them talking about it, because they'll try their hardest to make it seem like they're okay with it. But man, they're dying inside. He's even had some people on his podcast before this whole debacle happened of dudes in open relationships, and clearly they're not getting as much play as their wife, and they're just sitting there like with dead eyes trying their best to justify it, to rationalize it, and they just can't do it. It's not convincing. And once again, this isn't an advertisement for one is better than the other. I'm not saying that it's okay for these men, if they are in open relationships, to be sleeping with a bunch of women. I think that's wrong. But like I said, you're allowing other men to satisfy your wife, and you're trying to sit there and justify it as if you're actually okay with it. You just got to be okay with some people not liking you, right? You got to be able to put your foot down and say, no, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that, and you're not doing that. And if you're not down with that, you can bounce. But if you're down with that and we're in the public eye, we just got to be okay with people calling us this or that. At least my wife's not sleeping with a bunch of dudes, and at least I'm not sleeping with a bunch of women, right? We're chilling. But they cannot say the same, and that's unfortunate. But fellas, just keep that in mind, that it's okay to have standards, right? It's okay to be able to say, hey, and once again, so weird that you have to say this, but hey, woman, person that I am with, I don't want you sleeping with other people. And don't be so devoid of any meaning from your life that you have to try to rationalize it by saying, well, we're getting $3.99 per view if my wife sleeps with another man, so it's all good. Especially when you had money before. You have a successful podcast. You have money before. You're rich already. What was the point? I don't know. But because the word only applies to men, fellas, don't be a cuck. Allow yourself to have standards and stick by them. No matter how crazy the world is getting, stick by them. Females too, right? Women too. Stick by them, yeah. But in this situation, this is a dude, and I have seen this trend going on, and it's getting ridiculous. Have some standards, right? Don't sell out for $3.99.